8 is pretty nice. Victory 8 is pretty nice indeed. It's easy to win and not easy to lose. But we've been pretty fortunate over the years. We've won 8 straight elections, and the people have been pretty generous to us here in the Cardigan riding.
What's the dominant feeling right now? Is it relief? Did you expect this? What's your...
Oh, well, but it's, well, every campaign is a big job. It's not easy, a lot of hard work. Francis and I, we're a team, and my 2 sisters did a lot of canvassing with us, and my brothers helped out, and Linwood McPherson and Marion Clark were the co-chairs of the campaign, and so many other people, hundreds of people, did so many things for us. It made it pretty easy for us in that way.
Your 8th win, was there anything overly different about this one, the way you ran your campaign, how you felt throughout it?
No, not a bit, nothing different at all. But we just went out and saw as many people as we could and answered as many questions as we could in the riding to our constituents, and basically that was it.
There was supposed to be a great conservative threat in Lawrence against you, Mike Curry being probably one of the strongest contenders that you've faced in past years. What happened? Why didn't this Tory blue tide apparently materialize?
Well, I don't know. I'm just pleased to God it didn't. Mike is certainly a credible candidate. I knew that I felt I was in for quite a fight, and we certainly conducted ourselves in that way. We worked very hard, probably canvassed harder this time than ever, but every time you work pretty well as hard as you can, but we're at a lot of doors, and it went very well. Why it happens, it's so difficult to know. I'm very fortunate to have, number one, a great family support, but I'm also very fortunate to have excellent staff that work for me, and that helps in a campaign. I mean, I think when you're around for a while, you have to run on your record. And if you're able to help people, then it helps you in these times, and obviously it's been, the people have given me the responsibility again, and very much appreciated.
Why have Liberals lost seats in Atlantic Canada?
I wouldn't know. It's all I can do when campaigns start. I basically say I shut the door at the Hillsborough Bridge and work the eastern end of Prince Edward Island. That's what I do. Other candidates have to take care of themselves. It's why, I suppose it's on. There was different things happen in this campaign. I think it was a much different campaign across the country than we've seen in my lifetime, and probably most people's lifetime. Though I don't know what the result is yet, but we expect a somewhat different result this time.
Should Mike Natty stay on as leader? Should the Liberals pull up third, second?
First of all, we have to wait for the numbers to come in, and then wait for the leader to speak. That's up to him. What we do is, Francis and I, is work as hard as I can with our team in order to get elected. I wouldn't want to make any statements on what should or shouldn't happen. I imagine there'll be lots of people do that down the road. But right now, it's just time to celebrate and be so pleased.
You've been reelected. There's still a number of issues facing Eastern PEI at the moment. What can you do in regards to the East Isle Shipyard? Anything you can do to get more work going there?
Well, of course, East Isle Shipyard, we got the best people in the world at shipbuilding here. We got the credible people that are good in all areas of shipbuilding, and what we need is contracts. That's what we need. We need money from the federal government, and we need to build tugs, example for Panama and other places. We got the people that can build them, but we did not have the federal government sit down with the provincial government and the shipbuilders in order to do that. Instead of that, there's only in the teens, if there's anybody down in Georgetown now, and that's sad. What I would like to do is work with Georgetown and the government, whatever it might be, in order to make sure that we're able to put these workers back to work.
Do you think that the closure of Ocean Choice had any role to play in this election for you?
Well, I think where both of us have been around for a while, and I think people know the history of the Ocean Choice, and I believe it probably had some effect on the election.
What about the herring standards, the increased quota, and also the cut in the proposed budget that Conservatives had for small harbors? Did that play into it too?
Well, the small craft harbors cut, of course, would hurt Mike. The thing is, if you It's a safety issue, not only an economic issue, but a safety issue. And I fought all through my political career to make sure that we had the proper funding for small craft harbors. And as you know, the campaign is over, but there was a substantial cut, and that's unfortunate when we need more instead of less.
You say this is the most different election you've seen in a long time. What's so different about it? What were the biggest differences?
Oh, I don't think it's that different for us. But of course, we listen to you people, and perhaps that's a mistake. But the media are telling us it's going to be a different scenario across the country. And of course, the numbers are telling us that too. But you have to wait and see. You have to wait and see what the end result will be and then deal with that. I mean,
Liberals losing seats.
well, Steve, you asked me that before, and all I
You didn't answer me. So I'll try again.
Well, what you do when in an election campaign as an individual member of parliament is work as hard as you can in your own riding, and of course you have to deal with, in my situation, with your track record. And I expect that it's something to do with the result of the election.
You said at the beginning of the election that it can be difficult to get sort of those long-term deals for the Wood Island ferries. What can we look forward to do to secure a longer deal for the Wood Island ferries?
Well, of course, the Wood Islands ferry is always an issue that you have to deal with well before the contract comes to an end. As I said before, when the government announced the 3-year deal, I thanked them publicly because I was very concerned. I thought we might not get anything. But now we have the 3-year deal, and what I want to do is make sure that it remains the responsibility of the Government of Canada and that we get a long-term contract. Now, you're not going to probably get 15 years, but as long as you can get. 3 years is quite short, but if you could get 5 or 10 years, it would give it more stability.
How would you feel personally as an MP being a part of a coalition government?
I haven't got a clue. I never was part of a coalition, and I do not know if I will or will not be. So I don't know.
We haven't necessarily seen what has been called this NDP surge yet. Obviously, a long night ahead. But what do you, if that does come into play, if we do see the NDP winning more seats than the Liberals, what do you think that says about voters and where they stand right now?
Well, it's obvious that the voters were looking for change, and they made a decision. It's obvious there was movement out there, and the NDP picked it up.
What has to change within the Liberals themselves maybe to get that back?
Well, it's difficult to be in power all the time, and we're in power a lot of the time. Obviously, this time the people made a shift. Quebec in particular, they made a shift during the campaign, or it looks like they make a shift. It's not all that safe to speculate on what might happen. I think you have to wait till the numbers come in, or till the results come in.
Are you surprised with the results on Prince Edward Island at all?
No, it's my understanding we won the 3 seats, I believe. And
Nothing changed really.
nothing really changed,
I
and
believe.
that's what I understand it to be. And I think for Gail, a cabinet minister, and Guy came in right at the very end. It would be quite difficult for him. I'm not overly surprised. I think it was a well-run campaign on Prince Edward Island.
How are you feeling right now? What strategizing and thinking tactics now? Where are you at?
The strategizing for tonight is over. No, I'm not strategizing, but of course it won't be long until I'll be looking at some of the scenarios, and I expect I'll be involved in whatever takes place. And it could be a very interesting time ahead, but you have to wait till we get the results to find out what that will be. But it's always very interesting.
Another few years?
Another few years on top of the hill there.
MP widow, are you?
Well, I make myself useful when he's not home. I do a lot of things for him when he's not home. And I go to different functions and that kind of thing, so I make sure that I'm busy.
Was this campaign any more or less stressful for you than those in the past?
Every campaign is stressful, and we go out. I was going to do 2 or 3 days a week, and I ended up doing 6 days a week.
What happened there? Why was that?
Well, I don't know. I couldn't stay home and watch the thing developing, just watch the campaign. So I get out, went to visit people and meet people and found out at the doors what their feelings were, and I brought the information back to him. And if they were wanting something, he went to see them, or
When are you going to run for
No, I retired from teaching. I retired.
I have to say with Frances, if we go to a restaurant, it's a big job for her not to do the dishes. That's just how it is.
What are you going to hit right after? What do people of Cardigan really need? Bang. Right?
Well, number one, what they need is the situation in Surrey is there are workers up there that I've talked to up to even today, and they do. It's pretty difficult when you do not have a job. Whatever I can do in that area in order to help those people, and also to sit down and work with the government of Canada and the provincial government, which of course, as you know, is their responsibility, in order to put a proper processing plan in place for this province. We probably have the best lobsters in the world. We should be processing them.
So what can you do, though? You say you'll do whatever you can, but it is a provincial responsibility. What do you have in mind?
Well, I never saw the provincial government turn down money yet, and I think it takes dollars in order to make this stuff work, but you have to be sure, as best you can, not to have the dollars wasted. What you have to do is make sure you put a proper processing plan in place. As we know, and I don't not want to go into the past, but the fact is there was great problems with what was put together previously, and I would want to work to make sure that we don't get into that difficulty again.
All right, thank you. Congratulations.